California Governor Gavin Newsom is running a shadow campaign for president in 2024, and he's arguing behind the scenes that he's more electable than Joe Biden is against Donald Trump. Well, we've got some breaking news. A poll just got released showing Newsom versus Trump. We're going to share the numbers with you and tell you what it might mean for Newsom's political future as we head into this presidential election year. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and anyone who's watched this podcast knows that I have nothing but contempt for Governor Gavin Newsom here in California. And you also know that I called early on, a year and a half ago, that Newsom was going to run for president in 2024. And we already see clearly the shadow campaign playing out before our very eyes. Now, as I've argued, Newsom and his well-connected political donors and benefactors and operatives are making the case within the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, that he is more electable than Joe Biden, that Joe Biden has baggage, he's corrupt, he hasn't done well on issues, and of course, he's got dementia. All of those things are true about Gavin Newsom, by the way, except perhaps the dementia. We have to double check on that, though. But Newsom is saying that he is going to be better for the Democrat Party than Joe Biden will in 2024. And that basically to avoid a real contested Democrat primary, Newsom is running a shadow campaign with the support of those insiders, and that they don't want to have a progressive candidate emerge and actually go canvass for votes. They don't want the Democrat voters to actually weigh in. They want, in essence, a coronation. And of course, Newsom is used to coronations. He's always had things handed to him on a silver platter. All this would play out in the spring and early summer of next year, where they swap out Newsom for Joe Biden. But a breaking poll that just got released shows that perhaps Newsom is not more viable and more electable than even Joe Biden. As bad of a condition that Joe Biden is in with his lagging and sagging polling numbers, Gavin Newsom is actually doing worse. More on that in just a minute. But first, let's start in Newsom's home state. We brought you the story last week. Headline from the LA Times: new poll finds that California voters disapprove of Newsom's performance as governor. And in this poll, it shows that his disapproval rating is up 10 points from February, from 39% disapproving to a whopping 49% disapproving of his performance. That's a big disapproval shift in the span of 7-8 months. His approval rating is even worse. He went from 55% approval in February, down 10 points, to 44% approval. I think it is 44% approval. So it's down 15 points from the 55% number in February. That is a swing of 21 percentage points net favorability ratings. That's a devastating rebuke in Newsom's own home state. And I've argued in a previous podcast that it's not just because Newsom is running off with ambition, trying to run for president, a higher office, when we have real problems here back home in California. I think these voters are souring on his epic failure on the cost of living in California, the crime wave, the homelessness surge, the failing schools, the disrespectful way he's treating parents, the divisive way he's playing racial politics in the state. I think all of this is catching up with Newsom, and voters in his own home state have soured on him. But now let's look at that national poll that I promised you. The Washington Examiner has the headline right here: Newsom would lose to Trump if he replaced Biden atop Democrat ticket, new poll finds. This is just out today, and it is a poll that was done by Stack Data Strategy. And they did it over a 2-week period back in October. So let's take a look at the numbers. Here are the Electoral College numbers. And the reason why this is such an important poll is that it actually went deep into each of the states. Here is Biden versus Trump. Biden electoral college or popular vote wise would edge out Trump 49% to 47.78. Not a surprise. The national vote sometimes goes in the opposite direction of the electoral college vote. But take a look at the electoral college numbers. Trump would win with a comfortable margin. He could actually lose Wisconsin or Georgia and even Arizona and still win the presidency against Biden. Biden would get 246 electoral votes and Trump 292. And again, look at this. There are individual state polling numbers that this stack data strategy poll presents. Again, not a national poll. It does have a national number, but it has the granularity of electoral college numbers because it did state by state polling analysis. So in Pennsylvania, Trump wins by 2.32%. Wisconsin wins by less than 1%, but a win's a win. Arizona, a little over 1%. Georgia, almost 3 percentage points more than Biden. So these are good numbers for Trump against Joe Biden. But what if we switched it over to Gavin Newsom? Trump has a bigger victory. He wins the popular vote, 48.55 to 47.54. And the electoral college numbers are even better for Trump. Trump wins Maine. He wins New Hampshire. He wins Michigan. Those were not states that he won against Biden. He also picks up Nevada in this scenario. So he picks up those extra states against Gavin Newsom, and Newsom does not do as well in the national vote. People will say, well, it's because perhaps Newsom is not as well known. Believe me, if he's not as well known, the more that people know about him, the worse it's going to be for him. Kamala Harris also loses to Trump. So we finally found two Democrat candidates who are worse than Joe Biden. And a lot of us are sitting around trying to figure out how you could get any worse than Joe Biden. But Trump would also win against Kamala Harris, not as much as against Gavin Newsom. I think Newsom, Harris picks up Nevada and Harris picks up Maine. Whoop-de-doo. But the end result is the same. She loses. Just curious real quick about Biden versus DeSantis. Their numbers on Biden versus DeSantis. Oh, ouch, a rout. Biden getting 50% to DeSantis 44.62. Interesting that the conventional wisdom on the Republican side is somehow Trump is toxic and can't possibly win, and that DeSantis is better. This poll would suggest otherwise. But again, going back to Golden Boy Gavin Newsom, the savior of the Democrat Party, as all of the insiders are positioning him. That's all the talk around town. He's actually not doing as well as the demented one in the White House, Joe Biden. And look, I think people are figuring this out more and more, that Gavin Newsom is not ready for prime time. He's not even ready for the state of California with his abysmal performance on a whole host of policy issues. Here at Reform California, we are fighting every day to restore political balance to California and expose the failures of Governor Gavin Newsom. Whether or not he seeks the presidency is immaterial to us. He needs to be held accountable for his failures here in California, and we need your help. Go to the website exposegavinnewsom.com. exposegavinnewsom.com. Chip in a contribution so we can continue our investigations against Newsom, as well as run candidates for the state legislature who will hold him more accountable in this next election. exposegavinnewsom.com is the website. Also, check out our other stories that we have at reformcalifornia.org. As you can see, that site continues to provide daily updates on California news and politics that you're not going to get from the liberal media in every market in the state of California. We need you to share these stories with your friends and family because it really does open people's eyes to what's really going on out there. Go to reformcalifornia.org, share the stories, chip in a contribution. We are entirely grassroots funded. What do you think? Newsom better or worse than Biden in the polling? Do you believe the poll that we just went through? Sound off in the comment section below. It also helps us spread this video and break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video and stay up to date on our daily podcast here by liking this channel, subscribing to this channel, and click that notification button so you get notified when we post new content. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.